My mother's words still echo. If you disappeared tomorrow, no one would even notice. The laughter that followed stung sharper than the heat of the grill that day. My sister smirked, my father chuckled, cousins avoided my eyes. I didn't laugh. I lifted my hot dog like a glass and whispered, "Challenge accepted." They thought it was a joke. It wasn't. I used to believe family meant safety. As a child, I chased my mother's approval the way stray dogs chase scraps, desperate, grateful for crumbs. She gave me none. My sister got the praise, my father got the meals, and I got silence. Invisible, unless they needed someone to mock. I told myself it would change, that if I worked harder, if I smiled longer, if I bent myself small enough, one day she'd look at me with the same warmth she reserved for my sister's daughter. But the truth came out that afternoon with a bite of charred beef and a cruel smirk. I was unwanted. And once I accepted that, I stopped begging for scraps. That night, I disappeared. Not into death, into strategy. I packed the essentials: passport, savings, the documents they never thought I had copies of. Birth certificates, deeds, bank records. I walked out while their laughter still clung to the walls of the house like cigarette smoke. No goodbye, no tears, just silence. At first, I let them believe I was gone for good. No calls, no trace. My bank account emptied to a shadow balance, but not by accident. I redirected it, built quiet walls they couldn't see. Meanwhile, I checked their accounts, joint ones, personal ones, the auto pays they never looked at because that's your job? Yes, my job, the invisible one. I cut quietly, like a surgeon removing rot. Insurance premiums? Canceled. The automatic mortgage payment? Redirected to a holding account in my name, tied to the very deed my mother once bragged about earning. Electricity, water, gas, each vanished with a few keystrokes and notarized letters. By the time the first shutoff notice slapped their mailbox, I was long gone. But I didn't stop there. I didn't want them broke. I wanted them desperate. So I waited. 1 month. 2. I kept watch from a distance. Social media photos dried up. No more family dinners, no more poolside selfies. My sister's daughter, once smug behind her wheel, posted cryptic complaints about walking to work. My father's face looked heavier, sagging under the weight of overdue bills. And my mother? My mother kept smiling, but her eyes carried something new: fear. That was my favorite part. A year passed before I made my move. They thought I was gone, a rumor, a whisper. My name spoken only when the creditors called or when the lights flickered off again. But then, I came back. Not through their door, through their mailbox, through their email, through the knock of a lawyer they couldn't afford to ignore. See, what they forgot is that the house wasn't theirs. Not fully. Years ago, when they begged me to co-sign during my sister's financial fiasco, they said it was just paperwork. I was young, stupid, and eager to be included. I signed. They forgot. So when my lawyer sent the eviction notice, citing defaulted payments and joint ownership rights, the panic set in. That's when the phone call came. My mother's voice was weaker than I remembered. "You wouldn't do this to your family?" I almost laughed. "Family? You're right," I said calmly. "I wouldn't." Then I hung up. The day of the eviction, I stood across the street, watching. A sheriff's deputy posted the notice on their beloved red door. My sister yelled. My father slumped on the porch like the air had been punched out of him. My niece screamed about her ruined life. And my mother? She just looked around, as if maybe, just maybe, someone would notice her now. Someone would save her. No one did. Do you want to know the truth? I didn't feel guilt, not for a second. Because vanishing wasn't my punishment, it was theirs. The punishment was silence, followed by the slow realization that the person they dismissed, ignored, mocked, had been holding up the ground beneath their feet. And when I stepped away, they crumbled. Challenge accepted. Challenge completed. And as I watched them lock the last box into the back of a borrowed truck, I finally felt something I'd been denied all my life: peace.